Alright, everybody, welcome back to Major Gaming, and today we're going to be talking about Dead by Daylight and how I would implement dead meat into Dead by Daylight. I'm sorry, my face is extremely white right now. I can't fix it. The stupid lamp in the background with the computer screen, it makes me look like a ghost. I will attempt to do better in a different video, but as of right now, I look like a ghost, which that's okay because we're talking about Dead by Daylight, a horror game, yada yada. I'm white as all hell. um, so about like a month ago, I was in a live chat with like the live stream of Dead Meat's podcast thing that they do. Every once in a while, James will do James A. Janice, as in the person who runs Dead Meat, along with his wife Rebecca. James will do like a horror news live stream where he talks about what's going on in horror, like media, movies, whatever. And I wasn't the only one, but there were a couple people in his chat. But what I did was I sent a super chat to James during his live stream asking if he'd be willing to actually be a survivor in Dead by Daylight. And then he saw my super chat along with the other people who were asking, and he's like, oh yeah, and I see people mentioning Dead by Daylight. I would not say no to being a survivor in Dead by Daylight, and neither would his wife Rebecca. So that's dope. I think that Dead Meat definitely deserves a chance to be in Dead by Daylight because they're a huge YouTube channel. 6 million subscribers, millions of views per video most of the time. Like, they have been pushing horror in a good direction for a long time and doing a lot for horror and getting new horror fans, and they are the top of the food chain when it comes to YouTube horror channels. Like, they are the top. They got a podcast. They're starting to actually act and create horror movies. I mean, what more could you ask of a horror channel that does only pretty much horror content and creates horror fans than to have them in the Hall of Fame of Horror? I mean, I don't see how anyone would be upset about that. I mean, maybe they're not like the most requested survivors ever, but I mean, if they're willing to do it, why not? Like, I don't see an issue with them being a survivor. It's not like Survivor requires a lot of crazy gameplay, It's the same thing with each survivor, just new perks. So I don't see an issue with it. So I'd love for James to be in Dead Meat. He fits perfectly. And like, I know behavior will worry about like, oh, if we add this real life person into the game, how will their behavior of, like, will they ever go crazy like an Ezra Miller and ruin our reputation for them being in the game? There's no way James, of all people, would ruin the reputation of the game by being in the game. He's less likely to go crazy than Nicolas Cage. This dude is super nice. His wife, Rebecca, is super nice. Having James as a survivor and Rebecca as a legendary skin, there's no way. Like, I honestly, of all people, James is not the one to embarrass behavior by doing something crazy. He is literally right up behavior's alley in terms of politics, everything else. Like, he is dead, like, he is good for Dead by Daylight as a person. And he has one of the biggest horror YouTube channels ever. He has more views per video than Dead by Daylight has players on Steam on a monthly basis. Like, Dead Meat is arguably bigger than Dead by Daylight in the communities that they are in. So it makes sense. The biggest YouTube channel, of horror combines with the biggest ASIM horror game of all time and creates, a cool thing. I think people would really like it. And it just works. I think James would be a great survivor. Rebecca is a legendary skin. It would just work. But regardless, so now we're going to go over the lore that I came up with for James being in the game and the perks that I came up with for James here. For those of you who don't know, this is James right here. He is the host of the kill counts for Dead Meat, along with his wife Rebecca and another guy. His name is Zoran. He's pretty funny. But yeah, I think James with Rebecca as a skin would be dope. So let's get into the lore here that I came up with. I gotta move my camera. Alright, cool. Alright, so the lore. I am not a professional writer, so I hope this, sounds at least a little interesting. I tried my best to come up with something, but let's go with the lore here. While finishing up editing the newest kill count for his YouTube channel, Dead Meat, James A. Janice had a strange email appear in his inbox. The email offered an opportunity to meet some of his favorite horror icons and be a part of a secret project in Hollywood. At first, James was skeptical, but after talking with his wife Chelsea, he decided it was an offer that he couldn't refuse. He hopped on a plane and within hours he was smack dab in the middle of Hollywood. A man met James at the airport to pick him up. The man introduced himself as Robert E. Motion. Robert explained how he founded the movie studio known as Enticing Productions and how he wanted to bring real horror back to Hollywood again. They pulled up to a large warehouse-style building and walked inside. Camera crews and production sets were everywhere. It seemed as though everyone was so excited for James's arrival. They stepped into Robert's office and James sat down. Robert handed James a script and asked him to look it over while he attended to his business. Robert left the room, and James began reading. As he read through the pages, James noticed a thick fog filling up the room, and a large spider-like claw appeared through the fog as cameramen filled the room, hoping to get a video of what was taking place. The claw grabbed James and pulled him deep into the fog, never to be seen again. So, yeah, it's something. I tried. I tried coming up with something. Just the idea of James, meeting the horror icons that he had, he loves so much in the world of Dead by Daylight, where they're actually like real. I think that's pretty cool. But the names are a little on the nose. Robert E. Motion, Enticing Productions, Entity, Enticing. I tried to be clever. But yeah, so that's pretty much what I came up with for lore. And for anyone who doesn't know, this is James's wife, Chelsea, who I think should be a skin for James. Alright, so now we got the perks. Perks. So first perk is called Be Good People. And this is a phrase that James says at the end of all of his kill counts. He says, be good people. After you are hooked, all survivors gain a permanent 5% healing speed increase to altruistic healing speeds. After you have been sacrificed, the healing speed increase will be disabled. The healing speed increase will stack with other altruistic healing speed boosts. So, this right here is supposed to be a perk that, for one, helps with healing, because, healing can take forever sometimes playing as Survivor. And if you can even find someone to freaking heal you, half the time they're, like, running away, and you're like, dude, help me! But, so there's that. And then, so we have a permanent 5% healing speed increase to altruistic healing speeds after you, the person with the perk, has been hooked. So, say you get hooked, now as long as you stay alive, everyone has an altruistic healing speed increase. So, it kind of incentivizes your team to help you stay alive. You know, body blocking, taking chase, all that stuff. And I feel like it'd be hard to deal with solo queue, which a lot of things are. You know, getting your teammates to keep you alive. But at the very least, if they notice, oh hey, I just got a healing speed increase, that means whoever's been hooked has, be good people. And now the thing is, this stacks with other healing speeds. So like circle of healing, botany knowledge, stuff like that. It'll increase with those. Not self-care, because self-care isn't altruistic. At least I don't think they consider it altruistic. I would assume not, because you're healing yourself like a med kit. But, honestly, I wouldn't even care if it applied to self-care, because, that perk is very slow. So I don't mind if it did also apply to self-care. Just not med kits, obviously. But yeah. And then say you have 4 people in a lobby that be good people, you get a 20%. If everyone's been hooked, you get a 20%, healing speed increase. So I think that's a pretty solid perk, as Survivor. It might not be top tier or anything, but I think it does have a purpose. You're helping your team by sacrificing yourself and getting yourself hooked, at least a little bit. So next perk is Dead Meat, the name of the YouTube channel that James runs. After being on their last hook state, the survivor will be able to instantly self-heal 1 time per trial and gain endurance for 10 seconds. Self-healing will cause the survivor to suffer from the incapacitated status effect for 30 seconds after the endurance effect ends. So, pretty much it's a get out of jail free card. If you're on your last hook state and you can't get healed, or say you're mid chase on your last hook state, you can not only heal yourself instantly from injured to healthy, you also get an endurance effect for 10 seconds afterwards. So, say you take another hit afterwards, then you get endurance. Actually, that wouldn't make sense, would it? Because you're healthy at that point. Would it make sense? No, it wouldn't make sense. Alright. Let's see. Instead of endurance, change that to haste. Gain haste for 10 seconds, not endurance. That makes a lot more sense. So you self-heal, and then you get, 10% haste for 10 seconds, or whatever the base kit BT time is. You get haste for 10 seconds instead of endurance. I just thought of that. If you're healthy, endurance ain't really gonna help you. I just see, this is why it's good to actually make the video, because then I realize, oh, that doesn't really make sense. So yeah, change endurance to haste for 10 seconds. So pretty much if you're in mid chase and you have this perk and you're on your last hook state and you're injured, pop it, you'll instantly heal to healthy and then gain haste right away. And then now the only downside is you'll be incapacitated for 30 seconds after the haste ends. And that could be changed to like 20 seconds. I'm not sure. All these things need testing, so the numbers themselves are just guesses. But it needs to have some sort of downside. You can't just instantly heal mid chase and get haste and then go on about your day. Like there has to be a little bit of a downside, so maybe 30 seconds a little too much, but I think being incapacitated for an amount of time after is a good balance for literally getting a free health state whenever you want and haste to get out of a chase if you need to. Like that's a pretty good especially on your last hook state. Like that could potentially like save a whole game, you know, if you got other survivors working on the last gen and you're in chase and you're extending that chase and you extend it further and then they get the gen done. Like that's a pretty strong freaking perk. So it needs something, you know, it needs a downside. I think incapacitated for 30 seconds, you know, I think that'd be okay. But yeah, so that's dead meat. I would change it, but I made this into a PDF, so I can't edit it. I don't think. But yeah. All right. So last perk I came up with is called Get to the Numbers. After a survivor has been sacrificed, gain a 3% boost to generator repair speeds. After a second survivor has been sacrificed, gain a stackable 5% speed increase. So I know what some people are going to say. Oh, that's very small numbers, you know, for a sacrificed survivor. The like the cause of it isn't worth the 3% boost, you know, like it's not balanced in terms of what you have to do in order to get it. You have to have a survivor be out of the game. But my thing with that is you could have nothing. You know, like the after a survivor dies, you're kind of screwed if you have like 3 to 2 gens left. So, you know, like it's a 3% is a solid start, and then you after a second survivor has been sacrificed, you get another 5%, so you end up with 8% after 2 survivors are sacrificed. And if both you and the other survivor that are left both have that 8% stackable, you're looking at a 16% stackable gen boost for your whole team, which is essentially 2 people. And that could help a lot in a 3 gen situation where you're at the last gen and you're trying to get it done and you can't, and then all of a sudden 2 teammates are dead and you're like, oh, now we got 2 people. Well, now you have a boost that'll help you get that last gen done. And again, these boosts will also stack with other gen speed increasing perks like Prove Thyself, Deja Vu, you know, all these perks, was it that teamwork perk I think Renato brought in. You know, and then you have toolboxes, streetwise, built to last. That'll affect items. So you get, say you're on the last gen, you're in a 3 gen, you got a toolbox and Deja Vu. Okay, so at Deja Vu, all 3 gens are, you get a 6% speed increase, and then 2 survivors are dead, so you got 8%. That's 14%, and then you got a toolbox. You know, that gent is pretty much done. If it's already been started, you could just, you know, power right through it. You know, so I think that's I think 3% and then 5%. It won't get you out of like a survivor being sacrificed at like 4 gens or anything, but it will help when you're down to like 1 or 2 gens. You know, I think it would really help. So that's that's my idea for James's perks. I think they align with who he is as a person. You know, he wants to help. He wants to you know, get the team through, and these are all second chance perks that, you know, that will help after he's made a sacrifice or after sacrifices have happened where the team is struggling, you know, and that's James, you know. And then obviously Rebecca would have the same perks. She's just a skin. But I could have I debated whether or not Rebecca and James should be separate survivors, but I don't really think that's necessary. We have legendary skins that completely change the survivor now, so I don't think that's necessary at all. I think that both I think that Rebecca can just be a skin for James, and then that'd be cool. You know, you have both of them. You could choose, and then they both need to have voice lines. Okay, I know they would do it, so they gotta have voice lines like I don't know, like if he's being chased, he's like, "Oh, hey, it's Michael," or like like if he's being chased by Myers or something like, "I've seen all your movies," or something like, "You want to know how many kills you have?" I think that'd be I think that'd be funny because he's done videos on all of these all of these licensed characters. So I think if he has some voice lines to go with that, I think that'd be pretty funny. Same with Rebecca too. I think that'd be great. So yeah, I think Dead Meat would be a great addition to Dead by Daylight, and I just wanted to share my ideas. If you like my ideas, let me know down in the comments below. I want to continue to do these concepts. I've created like 5 or 6 concepts, some licensed, some original, like completely original that I thought of. And I think my ideas are pretty cool, and you'll see once I get to the killers, like the powers I come up with. I think I have some dope ideas. Not gonna lie, not not trying to boost myself up, but I think I got some pretty cool ideas, and I want to share them with people. I don't want to just write them down and then have them sit in my phone. It's just weird. I want to at least try to share them and get them out into the world. And hey, maybe Behavior will see a concept one day for one of my original killers and make the chapter a reality or something. That'd be dope. I'd love for that to happen. I don't even need credit. Just freaking do it. So yeah. That's my idea for Dead Meat in Dead by Daylight, and I hope y'all liked it. Leave a comment, subscribe, and yeah, have a good day.